I'm Harlie, Hi Rapley, and joining me today is Melbourne DJ and producer Tom Beard, aka Hoopla. So, how's it going today, Tom?
Good, Harles. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, just enjoying this glorious lockdown.
Bloody oath.
Yeah.
Same.
So, so I wanted to talk to you today sort of about your background in the music industry, how
Cool.
you sort of became Hoopla.
Yeah.
So, if we start off, so what inspired you to become a DJ?
Well, I don't know. I started DJing maybe like when I was actually it goes back to being like when I was about 16 or 15 or 16 in high school. We used to run like make little mixes on Sony Acid Pro, which is like a program that's not even around anymore. But like you used to just basically put like we used to just put all these different tracks together and make these little live sets, and then we'd like promote like these little shuffle offs we used to call them when shuffling was massive in Melbourne, um, and like yeah we'd basically like get all these flyers, like hand write them out and like put them out around the school and shit like that. And then I don't know, we didn't even know what we were doing essentially, but I guess from there it led to when I was I had a friend who I used to work with, and he would always throw parties at his house, and he was a bit older than me. And then he sort of taught me how to DJ, and then I was about 18 then, and from then on it was just nuts. It was just full steam ahead.
Awesome, yeah. So you've been going a while now, over
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah.
Awesome, yeah. And so how did you start out? How did you sort of become Hoopla? How did that establish?
Uh, well, originally I was DJ Rich Kent, and
Yeah,
then which is just a ridiculous name. And then from there, you would remember I was Richard Kent for a while there,
yeah,
maybe. And yeah, I don't know. I made it because that whole moniker was just like whatever goes. You know what I mean? It was just like whatever. Um, I don't know. I just play whatever music I felt like it, but like I never had something that was like had its own direction. It
yeah,
was like its actual own thing. And I
yeah,
guess once I started learning production a little bit more, and I was like, I don't know, sort of trying to develop my own sound. Um, I guess I, yeah, I just felt the need to like build a whole new persona. I guess something where I could
yeah,
go like really niche and just narrow down on exactly what I wanted to do. I guess.
yeah. And that's
Um,
sort of what you did with the indie dance. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So that's just like a little party that I like to throw for my friends. Um, uh, yeah, I've like always thrown parties and that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's a bit hard to get gigs. Sort of playing the music I'm playing as well is like not the most popular music. So um, just got to work out ways how to
Yeah, and that's
spread
sort
the
of
vibe
what you did with.
um,
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, get like a following kind of thing. All off your
Yeah,
own bat, which is a bit hard at times because you've got to carry so many like you have to do so much to get that to happen. But um,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's fun, that's for sure. The parties are
Yeah,
sick.
definitely. Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. Would you say it's hard to get established in the sort of techno scene?
Yeah, I'd say I don't know. It's definitely very clicky, especially
Mm,
like in Melbourne. You got to know people. You got to be hanging around the scene, which is all good and fair, like. But I don't know. It's sort of hard, like because I'm spending so much time in the studio. I don't really spend as much time in clubs.
yeah,
Um, I only get out when I can or like I really want to. Um, but I'm just coming at it from maybe a different angle than some other people maybe do, like a traditional DJ where um, you're like playing clubs all the time, and then you'd probably learn how to make music based on the music you're playing in the clubs, blah 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 blah. Whereas what I'm doing is more like I'm producing the music and then trying to find the fan base, and then hopefully from there, people will like it, and I'll start getting booked. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just shooting fish in the barrel at the moment.
Well, that's what you got to do. It's all exciting.
Yeah.
And what would you say the DJ culture is like from what you've kind of experienced over the years?
It's very cool. It's very the same. It's very much similar to like just like festival culture or like being in clubs and that kind of thing. You know, like everyone sort of loves each other and everyone's mates and everyone's there to look after each other and that kind of thing, which is super cool.
Yeah.
It's not like cliquey in the way you could imagine, I don't know, things at high school, you know, that really immature kind of, these are my friends and blah, 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 blah. It's not like that at all. It's more like, I don't know.
Looking out for each other.
Yeah, there's more like friendship and love and that kind of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, that's good. And obviously, COVID has impacted the music industry massively. I saw that the industry is actually down $325 million and counting at the moment. And then obviously festivals and gigs are on hold for the foreseeable future. So it's really impacted that industry. So have you had to sort of make any drastic changes because of that?
Well, I guess like in my day job, because I produce like mix and master for other people for money, essentially. And I guess that would have been like heavily affected had I had like a big studio or I was working where I used to work, considering you can't like be with people and that kind of thing. But sort of before COVID, when I wasn't at that big studio anymore, I just sort of went out on my own and started doing everything digitally. So I was just working from home regardless, you know what I mean? So just building the business up slowly in the mixing and mastering and production side of things. And had my own little home studio, which I still do. And I produce my own music out of there. So it sort of didn't really affect me too much on my side of things. But like if anyone who was gigging, all my clients, all that kind of thing, they've been affected pretty heavily by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is pretty shocking.
It's a bit scary, isn't it?
It is very, but I think like the music industry, or probably any arts industry or media, can adapt pretty quickly to these kinds of situations. They're not like traditional industries where they have to be ran a certain way, you know, like it's always adapting. If you even just look at going from like vinyl to cassettes and CDs and then digital, like that's happened over like the last, I don't know, 40 years or so. So as you can see, like with those kinds of things, you know, like everyone just grows and adapts, and it's never the same as it was, but people are just doing things differently in a new, cool way. And I think, from this, it's going to, I know, birth some really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think the lockdown has sort of sparked any more creativity in your work?
I wouldn't say. I've definitely had a lot more time to make more music and work on other projects, which has been good. Creativity-wise, I think like most creativity comes from experiences and like going places and traveling and all that sort of stuff. So I think I've been drawing on like my past experiences a lot with the creativity side of things. And I'm assuming at some stage I'm going to run out of things to write about. But I don't know. Maybe everyone will start playing the blues or something because of COVID. Who knows?
Yeah. So you do a lot of mixing and mastering for and producing for other sort of artists.
Yeah.
And how did you get into doing that? Did you have to get a degree or anything, or did you just kind of practice at home?
So since like I said, for the last like 10 or 12 years, like I was always playing around with audio and just doing stupid things with it. And that sort of developed up to a point. And then I did my apprenticeship and all that kind of thing in refrigeration and air conditioning. And like actually the science behind all that actually is exactly the same science as audio. It's just electro technology essentially. So that really, not that I knew at the time, but understanding like it's all problem solving and being able to solve those problems and understanding the science behind audio during that period really helped me to, I don't know that I could do it professionally, kind of thing, you know, because I knew I had skills that maybe someone who just is in a band or something like that, or just plays guitar, or they're just a musician, may not essentially have in production, maybe. And then it came to a point, because I ended up quitting my full-time job and like going overseas when I came back, and just wondering exactly what I wanted to do. And I'd always like played music and loved music, and started, like, obviously had been producing for a while. And when it came down to that, I was just like, well, I can give this a red hot crack and see if I can make something of it. But I wasn't really hanging around with anyone who did a similar thing to me, or produced music, so I didn't really have a good click in that regard. But I went to I decided I'll go find some people, so I went to RMIT and did a Cert 4 in sound production, and just met like so many people who were on the exact same level as me and had similar goals, not necessarily the same, but like were driven in audio and all that sort of stuff. And about a couple of months into that, I met a bloke, Tony, and he, I just wanted to do some work experience with him, and he basically said, yeah, no worries, come down. That was the studio was in Brunswick, so we went up there, and he taught me a shitload, you know what I mean? It was more like not the stuff they teach you at school. It was more like business oriented, and obviously just how to deal with people, how to deal with clients in the industry, how to find work, how to win work, all that sort of stuff. And obviously, like, he taught me a lot about specifics about mastering. And mastering is like the end of the production line, you know, so it goes, someone's writing a song, and then they'll go and record it, you know, they'll sing into the microphone and play the guitar, and some will be playing drums, they'll record all that. Then from there, all those recordings or elements essentially get mixed down by a mix engineer, which is something I also do. And then from that process, it goes from mastering. So you get like a single track, which is a pre-master, and it goes into mastering, and then we basically EQ it all and make it louder, add a little bit of compression, like all these things that are irrelevant at the moment. But yeah, so he taught me a lot about the mastering process and like the specifics, and that gave me the opportunity to sort of deconstruct the process, which was pretty cool. Working out how it happened from the top down, and it was a really good studio, and he used to get like some really good work, and I was working with really good artists, and just seeing how high quality production ends up, you know, and being able to work out, okay, so what have they done in the mix to make it sound this good before it gets to mastering. So I'd like deconstruct that, and you're just learning and learning and learning when you're working with like more and more people and artists. You're learning exactly what they're doing. You're learning the lingo. You're just getting an understanding, just as a byproduct of being around that situation and doing the work. And it's like a service industry, you know, the production side of things. You're just there to do a job for someone. So from there, yeah, I just sort of, I knew what to do digitally. I was already doing it on my laptop, you know what I mean? Like I was doing the stuff for Hoopla, but that period of like 1 or 2 years just put all this knowledge that I had about production together, and like gave me like a lot of structure. And from there I was able to like build my business based off the skills I had learned through my apprenticeship in like being the service industry, just like looking after people and providing a service that people find valuable and like to pay you for. So that's that was a good process. And like, yeah, I don't know, it was sort of, yeah, looking back, there's definitely probably the most important thing, working in that studio for the couple of years that I was in there, which was good.
Yeah, sounds like a really great experience to get some sort of hands-on work where you can actually put it all into practice rather than, and you've got someone there with a bit of guidance that can just give you the opportunity to kind of just push yourself and show them what you've got, kind of thing.
Absolutely, and even the teachers that I had at RMIT were incredible. You know, like all skilled in their own rights and coming from all different angles of the industry. They like learning off those guys was insane. You know, like it was like they just were so full of knowledge. Yeah, and I don't know, just putting yourself in the right circles and the people I met there. You know what I mean? Like it's all, I don't know. I just feel like all my learning has essentially come from me putting myself in the position to be able to learn and surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah, definitely.
And that
You would
kind
have
of stuff.
put yourself out there because it's obviously something that you're really passionate about.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about being a DJ?
Just playing in front of people and playing in front of my friends, just to see their satisfaction, especially when you're like dropping a fat track.
And everyone's just going off.
Yeah, that's
throwing a few of those ones.
few of those, few of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's easily the best part, and that's what drives me, and that's what's driven me since the start. You know what I mean? When I first like started DJing at my mate's house, you know, when you drop a track and everyone just loses their shit, like put everything else aside, like success or money or anything like that. Like that feeling is what you're addicted to. You know, it's such a thrill.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's good for everyone else. You know, no one else has to ever think about what music to put on.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good. So, what's next for Hoopla?
Well, I think I've just released Synchronicity, which is a big build up.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I've done that. That's a 2-track single. I had released the album last year, and between that period, I was learning a lot about like promotion, and had to launch my own label, which was sort of coincided with the release of my single, the launch of the label, and learning how to put all that together and like building all the pipe work. Like I signed a distribution deal with Believe over in France, which was big news for me. Laying all the pipe work, and I don't know, giving my music like an avenue to be distributed globally on a global scale to all different markets was like, it took a long time to understand that process and actually find the right avenues for me, you know what I mean? Because there's so many different ways you can go down, and I just wanted to go down the independent route. So just Believe are like fully independent. And I'm using like some guys in the UK for PR because they've got a really good handle on the market that I'm looking at targeting over in Europe and the States, and even obviously locally in Australia. The sound I'm sort of pushing isn't as big here, but I don't know, like we've got a pretty good handle on electronic music here. So yeah, I'm sort of just relying on it to happen naturally in Australia, kind of thing, you know, not really pushing it too hard down here.
That's so exciting though.
But yeah, there's like all those things put together, and I'm just gonna just keep releasing music from here. And I've got another single I'm gonna release out in the end of October, and then for the next, I don't know, few months, like every second month, I'll probably release another single for a while, I guess. I think that's
cool.
That's what I've got coming up.
Yeah, well, watch this space, you know.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty more where that came from.
Oh, excellent. So have you got any tips for any other aspiring DJs, people trying to get out there? What advice would you give them?
I don't know. I've got a few mates like Pseudo Dream who are aspiring, so I just have to channel talking to those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just like don't get dejected by all the rejection that you get. because there's a lot of it, and you're just constantly getting knocked back and rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected. But out of those like thousands of rejections, there's like maybe one or two things that'll like happen, and then you build on that, and then you just get rejected again for God knows how long, and then you just had the small wins, you know. And then there's just so many facets you have to do for yourself, things you have to learn along the way, and the only way to do that is like getting stuck in. So like even me, like it's so far into this journey, and I don't even like it's hard to gauge your success because you're not really, there's no one else to really look at, you know what I mean, apart from like I look at Diplo and I'm like, what a fucking legend. You know what I mean? Like, but he's on this like high level and I'm like down here, so it's hard to like work out what steps to take and what moves to make to like get in the right direction.
Yeah,
but you learn from
everyone's kind of on their own little path, you know. Every DJ has their own little niche that they work towards, and I guess it's probably hard to gauge, like you said, where are you, because everyone's a little bit different.
Correct. And everyone does things differently, but I think that's the beauty of it, is like the creativity is not only in like the music that you're making or your album artwork or like all those traditionally creative things. It's like all the moves you make along the way, like that's the artwork, and I think that's the part that can't be really replicated. Like you can go a certain distance by watching tutorials and listening to other people and trying to emulate what other people are doing. But essentially, like what's going to be different is the way you attack things and the way you approach things, the way you go about, I know, building your career. That creativity is what sets you apart from everyone else and is what is going to be your unique point, you know, and that can't be replicated in anything you do, whether you're an artist or you work in an office. The way you approach things is the way you do it, and it's always a bit dejecting, like when people say things like, "Oh, that there's so many other people doing it. There's 40,000 different tracks on Spotify," or I don't know, there's X amount of people, it's a flooded market, blah, 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 blah. Like that's all true. And there is a lot of music out there and there's a lot of people doing the same or similar things, but no one can do what you do essentially, because you are you, and like the creativity that comes out of you and your imagination is like completely unique, you know? So it's like selling that to everyone else. How do you like make that popular? You know, how do you get all that into the right ears? And then people essentially will probably come back and feel similar to you in some way, or may listen to a track and it really touches them because that's the way they'll feel at that certain point of time. You know, you don't know. So yeah. just ramblings. Don't worry.
All exciting. And you're still doing work with Kiss FM as well?
Yeah, so I've got the radio show there every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m.
Yeah, awesome.
That's taken a few different forms over the last few years. At first we were doing Nonchalant, which is what I do with my mate Shaq, which is our little side techno gig, which is fun. And then I started doing it by myself as Hoopla, and now it's just the Tempest Transmission radio show, so it's just purely for the label, like pushing a relatively, I don't know, wide range of indie sounding music. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. I love doing that show. It's good to be able to practice your DJing.
Yeah, exactly.
Once a week.
Broadcast it a bit as well.
Exactly.
Get it out there.
Bloody oath.
Bit of afternoon delight.
Why not?
Midweek, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been good chatting to you. I'm trying to think if I've got any more questions.
Yeah, true. It's been a good yarn.
Yeah, it has been good. It's nice to hear about how you got to where you are. I didn't know everything, so it's good to get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, bloody
hear about it all.
And going on the record live stream.
Yeah, I know. I've done that before.
First time for everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Awesome.
Good times.
Yeah. Well, thanks for chatting to me
No
and helping
dramas.
me out.
No
It's
dramas
been
at all.
good. Been good.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. What's on for the rest of the day?
I've got a couple of masters to do, but I'm supposed to be having some time off because I've been working too hard. So
Yep.
I'm going to try and get that done relatively quickly. Do a
And
good
then
job,
just
of
relax.
course, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it's sort of closing off a few jobs that I've been working on for the last few months. So
Yeah.
yeah, once we can get that done, I can probably just kick back and do nothing for the next couple of weeks, which would be great.
Yeah. And then hopefully we'll be out of this stage 4 and into stage 3.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, me too. Just
Wouldn't
keep
mind
that
going to
positivity
revs.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, tell me about it.
Good times.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Harles.
Well,
That was
no
awesome.
worries. That was good.
Is
Um,
that it?
um,
Is it? Are we
yes,
wrapping
I
it
think
up?
that's it. Yeah, I think I've got enough. I've got like 26 minutes.
Great.
Pretty good.
Is that how much you need?
And, well, it's only meant to be like 3 minutes long, but I was like, I'll get as much info as I can, and then it's all about like cutting it down and
Cool.
making it sound good. So I
Love
think
it.
I've got more than enough there.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Well, I'm going to stop the recording now.